What's up, guys? I got something really exciting to talk to you about today. The squat and the deadlift. And it's gonna be juicy. So, let's go, baby! Get started. Today we're going to do the squat and the deadlift. So the first thing that we will do is identify what warm-up exercises can be related to those two movements or exercises. What we want is the body to understand what we are doing next. Conclusion: a warm-up is a preparation of what the body is going to do next. I threw in a couple of examples here. The setup. What we will want to do first is to make sure that the cups on the rack is the correct height. I see a lot of people having the cup in the same height as your upper shoulder. It's just a disaster waiting to happen. Don't fucking do it. Be smart. The different versions. The box squat, the Zercher squat, the front squat, regular Highbar squat, and the Lowbar squat. This is just a couple of examples of the squat. There's obviously more. The rules. Angle of the upper body and upper part of your thigh is determined of the mobility of your ankle. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that a lot of people are talking about you having great mobility in your hips and lower back and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is that the most important mobility issue is your ankle. When you have okay mobility in your ankle, because that allows you to have your knees forward so that your upper body have space to, move around. I see a lot of people having their legs way too close. They get mobility issues. They think that they have mobility problems in their lower back or even in their ankles. I don't know. But the truth is that if you have a butt that's this big and you put your feet at the same width, that means that your butt cannot fit between your knees. So you have to bring your feet out a little bit, giving your butt some space to to fit in between your legs, and that will allow your upper body to, get the space it needs to perform a good squat. Well, you could do different types of exercises, but a couple of them that are really helpful is the pause squat. The pause is at the bottom because when you're doing the squat, you're kind of building kinetic energy. Well, that is, when you're moving, your body creates kinetic energy. The explanation is that when you see a lot of people doing the squat, they what you call bounce up. They build kinetic energy on the way down and they use that to kind of bounce up. But if you're pausing at the bottom, you relieve all your kinetic energy and you kind of have to start from scratch, which is kind of the hardest thing because in the bottom is probably where you're at your weakest. Incredible for building strength. And also, you know that you're working exactly the same on each leg, which is a huge problem for a lot of athletes, especially, soccer, basketball, all kinds of sports where one side of your body is doing most of the work. So this, when you kind of go to strength training, you have a tendency to kind of use that side of your body more than the other one, right? So one-legged exercises, one-armed exercises, very nice. The Bulgarian lunges. Strengthen your hips, your abs, and against popular belief, I know a lot of people talk about the deadlift and you need to have this insanely strong lower back, but in fact, the squat is more depending on your lower back than the deadlift. And especially if you're a young athlete, older athletes, I'm talking like 30 plus, you kind of use your back your whole life, so you built up the strength level a lot during the years. But on a young person, you don't have that luxury, so you need to put in the work and the effort into building up that lower back, and that's usually one of the weak points on younger athletes. So put a lot of work into that, while older people can pretty much work a little bit less on that. Example, for me, if I don't have any weight on the bar, it's hard for me to get in a perfect position. I need to have around 100 kilos, 120 kilos, and that's kind of the perfect thing for me. I can do 20 reps easily without taking a break with 120 kilos. And that tells me that the weight is light enough for me to work on my technique, but still heavy enough for my body to respond somewhat, okay, right? I kind of go back and work on my technique from time to time because a lot of us work on the technique from the start when we try to get better and improve in a specific exercise. But suddenly, as we grow stronger, we kind of forget about the technique. If you're looking at old footage or whatever, you would probably see that you're changing up your technique. Maybe in a deadlift, you're going a little bit deeper with your butt than you used to as you get past the 250 kilo benchmark, something like that. And if this is true, then you have to work on your technique because you're not doing the same exercise as you did 5 years ago. Recap on the squat. Warming up, you should do things that prepares your body for what it's going to do next. The setup. Make sure that the rack is in a position that's well suited for you and make sure that no accidents will happen. Prepare for the lift. Think of everything. If you need a spotter, make sure that you ask for a spotter before you're doing the lift, and don't start screaming when you're already in deep trouble. We talked about the rules. Remember, the mobility of the ankle is very important, contradicting popular belief that it's your hips and your lower back mobility that's always the issue. Check out some decent videos on this, and just search for it on YouTube. He's got some crazy nice videos that'll take you everywhere you want to go on the mobility thing. Increasing the strength. Work on one-legged exercises. Work on your core strength. Always be looking and working at your technique.